Hey, Brian from Garage Hall. Today I have a Garvee chest press machine. So let's open the box up, see what we get, put it together, and then we'll try it out and see how it works. So here we go. Okay, so that is your instructions. I'll open that up in a minute. Let me get some of the foam pieces out of the way, lift it up so you can kind of see the contents. And right away, this is the chest back plate. So we're gonna put this over here out of the way. Those are your bolts. And it does come with some tools, so that's pretty cool. And then it's gonna be a matter of basically pulling all these pieces out. And then we're gonna unwrap them. So that is what it looks like when it's all assembled. So that is your parts list. So there are a lot of parts. Hardware list. Step 1. Step 2. Step 3. And then step 4. So that's your hardware pack. So we're gonna open this up. And we're gonna keep the pieces over here on kind of like a separate workbench. Keep it better organized for us. All right, there we go. So that's what that looks like. All right, so first things first, you're gonna need 2 of these. So that's a straight piece. And they have the ends on it already, so I don't think the orientation really matters that particular much. Here's the second one. So we're gonna put these out front here like this. Okay, we'll need this one in a second, so we'll just put that off to the side. Okay, and then you're gonna need these. These are your base pieces. So try to get that maneuvered over here. And they have an orientation going out this way. And this one like this. Okay. So let's fit them right like that. Then these pieces will kind of line up on either side like this. Okay. So that's kind of like the base. And then we need a whole bunch of bolts, which on your hardware kit's going to be on this side right here. So we're going to need 4 of those. 29, which is the M10 washer. And there's a bunch of those in the pack. And then 32 is the M10 nut. Bunch of those. We'll need 4. So I got those. And this is a 17 millimeter. It does come with tools, but I'm going to use some of my own. I'll bring these a little bit closer to me. Okay, so it's a bolt and a washer going through this side. And you see that pop through the other side. And we'll put a washer and a nut on there. And just hand tight for now. We'll tighten it up as soon as we get going on this. Okay, so we got both of those situated. Now I noticed something. It wants the uprights for plate storage. So you're gonna have two of these. And then it is looking for bolt 24 and a 6mm hex key. And then we're gonna put these on. Basically, we're sliding that down. And I'm gonna twist it on by hand first. I think should work. Okay. I'm gonna use the hex key to tighten that down. Okay, so that's good. Okay, next we are going to be looking for the M10 70mm bolts. 4 washers. Then basically 2 nuts, and then we're going to be looking for this funny little shaped device, and it looks like there's no correct or wrong orientation, so we're basically going to line that up as so. Okay, so I think we're at this point, we are done with this part. Let's tighten everything down so it's nice and tight so we can move on to the next part. Okay, next we're gonna be looking for this piece right here. And it's gonna basically sit right there. So I guess we can turn this sideways at this point. So we get a better view of how that's going to sit. Okay, so we're going to need 4 23s. So basically 2 for this side, 2 for this side. Then 4 washers, 4 washers. And then we're going to need 2 nuts on either side. So let's loosely put this together. Okay, next we need this piece, and the orientation is kind of easy to kind of figure out. So it's kind of difficult to put this piece in backwards, to say the least. And again, keep everything loose, make sure that lines up. And it looks like these 2 holes are going to be pointing towards the bottom. And 4 of the nylon bolts. I'm just going to bring this a little bit closer to me to make it a little bit easier to do. Okay, so next you're going to need this piece here, and you are going to be setting it into this first hole, and then you have 21, which is the bigger bolt. Should be the last bolt you have left over. Then you're putting that through like that. Then you have a nut on the other side. And we're just gonna make that hand tight for now. So that is what your bench is gonna rest on. Then you have a front foot that's gonna go down. So it's basically gonna sit like that for you. And then basically this foot lines up here. Okay, so this one's kind of tricky. So you're gonna have this top hole here, and then you're gonna have this, the bolt is gonna go through this part. So it's kind of like the pivot point. And that's going to go through the other side. So if you look at it, you have a hole here, and then you have some adjustments here for the foot, and then this is going to be the pivot point. And if you follow the instructions straight across, it kind of makes it pretty obvious down on that point. Now you have some pins. So this pin is basically going to go through this hole here, straight across. So that way you got the pivot point and you got that pin there. Okay, and at this point tighten these up, but you don't want to make them super tight, but just tight enough that the bolt comes through onto the nylon side. Next, you're going to have these uprights go in. We'll set them down like that. And then this rod with these cushions, put the cushion in on the one side. And we'll slide that through to the top. So the top hole right there. Okay, so there is a zip tie that holds the bearing in on either side of this. So make sure that that is situated, and we're going to put it on the arm up here. So just hold that bearing in place and then slide that arm on. Kind of have to twist it around a little bit. Okay, so you have this last kind of washer that you're going to be sitting up here. So it has the beveled point you want to go into this, and then you put your last hex bolt. And then make it snug. And then this is definitely a point that you're going to be checking often, to say the least. And then last but not least is the back pad. So you want to line up with that. Then put a washer on. And then you want to line one up. A little easier said than done, but once you get that lined up, just get a couple threads in, then you can line up all the other bolts. Okay, and then your 2-inch adapter, basically just slide this over this piece here, and then you'll see the hex key. And basically, it depends on where you want to put it. I usually kind of put them underneath so they're kind of out of sight. And then make that snug as you can because you're going to have plates on there. But other than that, that's basically kind of it. Let me get this off my bench, put the rest of these on, and then I'll show you how it works. And we go from there. Stay tuned. Okay, so this is the bench all set up. So it's pretty cool. I like the fact that you can kick this back and then you turn it into basically an incline bench. You can also do some different military presses with this, as well as kind of a decline press on that, but I'm not that aerobatic at my age. But anyway, let me show you this. So this is the incline press. So really easy to get down into. Just line yourself up, and then you are pushing up, and it totally, you have a really good range of motion on this. And then you kick this up, put that down. Now you have a flat bench. Make sure you put your pin inside. And again, you're set up. Get yourself in position. And then you have a nice bench press on this. No need for a spotter. Great range of motion. Then you're done. And then again, you can adjust these uprights. And you got some weights stacking back here. So some great weight storage. I mean, you can put a lot of plates on this. Very cool, easy to do. And then if you wanted to set this up for, start off on a military press, you can just line that pin up. You're good to go there. Easy transition. And then you can sit here and start off with a modified military press. You can slide yourself out a little bit, lean into it more. But a good range of motion on this bench. Anyway, Brian from Garvee Hall. Thanks for watching, and be safe out there.